Yes, so what we ask you to do is to concentrate and ask as many questions as you can. So once you have any question, any clarity that you would want us to make, please, you can just open your mic and ask. So shall we just zero in? Yeah. Question number 1. Tink, would you read for us question number 1?
Okay. Question 1 reads, states and out are mostly associated with perfect competition, monopoly, or both. So should I read O up to G? Up to O?
No, just start. Just start.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. So the question of the day is to state, not just stating. You should be able to justify whether the following characteristics, implications, and outcomes of markets are mostly associated with the perfect competition, monopoly, or both. So in short, we are trying to revise on market structure. These questions, all of them, they're coming from market structure. So you should pay attention. It can be a good revision for all of you. We know the characteristics of the market structure. So what you just have to do is to participate in this, so that we move fast. Number 1, the price is equal to the marginal revenue and average revenue. So we're saying P is equal to marginal revenue and the average what? Average revenue. Which market is this? Is this perfect competition or monopoly? Anybody?
It's perfect competition.
All right, this is perfect competition, isn't it? We said that under perfect competition, the diagram is like this. So price is here, marginal revenue is here, and the average what? Average revenue is here, and that is also equal to demand. So we know that under perfect competition, price is equal to demand, that is equal to average revenue, and it is also equal to what? To marginal revenue. That is what was said under what? Under perfect competition. Clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Are we? Okay. Question number B. Question number B. Chisha Kalunga, would you read B for us?
Consumers have imperfect information about the cost of production or price.
Okay. So, friends, which market is this? Which market is this where consumers don't have perfect information? Which market is this? Is it monopoly or perfect? Anybody?
Monopoly.
Okay. So in the monopoly market, we find that there is no perfect what? There is no perfect competition. That's what was said, and this is what we are saying even up to today. We are saying that under monopoly, there is no perfect competition, which means that people are not fully aware of what is going on or what is happening. People are not aware of the quality of the products that are being produced. People are not aware of the other sources where they can get the same products. So usually what is happening is that we don't have perfect information here. The information that the buyers and the sellers have is not equal. So in short, there is information asymmetry, all right? There is information asymmetry, or there is asymmetric information. So information asymmetry or asymmetric information simply means that the information is one-sided. So in this context, we find that only the producers, the owners of the firms, are the ones that know more about their product, about the prices, about everything concerning the product that they offer. So we find that the buyers are not fully aware of what is going on. You get that, right? So that is in the monopoly. But under perfect competition, we said it is opposite here. We have perfect what? Information, which means that the buyers and the sellers have equal information. We know the quality that they are offering and the information that the buyers have and the information that the sellers have is just equal. All right, so there is no information asymmetry. In other words, the information is symmetric. Any question? Clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay. Please, if you have any question, you can always ask. You can always ask. Gertrude, would you read for us question number C?
There is limited consumer surplus due to the firm's price setting behavior.
Which market is this? Where there is limited what? Consumer surplus. By the way, before you start attempting, what is consumer surplus? What did we say about consumer surplus? Anybody in your own words? Hello. Consumer surplus. What is consumer surplus? Anyways, we said that consumer surplus simply means okay, let me contextualize. Here is someone who is planning to go to town to a certain shop to buy a laptop at 7,000. You want to go and buy a laptop at 7,000. You are willing to pay for that laptop at 7,000. Then you go to that particular shop, you find that your laptop is what? That same laptop, same quality, same everything. You just find it at what? At 5,000. All right. So it means that you have the difference of 2,000 in your pocket. This 2,000 is the one that you're going to keep. Therefore, this 2,000 is said to be your consumer surplus as a consumer. It's your surplus as a consumer, which means that it is basically the difference between how much you are willing to pay and how much you pay. Consumer surplus is the difference between how much somebody is willing to pay and how much they actually pay. So that difference is what is called consumer surplus. So in this context, you have 2,000. That money which remains, which you put in your pocket, okay, because you found that what you wanted to buy, the price is a little bit lower than anticipated, is called consumer surplus. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if it is clear, which market do we have limited consumer surplus? Perfect or monopoly? Hello. Hello. All right. There
It's
is
monopoly.
okay. Thank you. There is the limited consumer surplus under monopoly. You know the monopoly, guys. This is where you have only one firm in the industry, like in the market. Just have only one firm, and these firms always they do what we said about pricing setting behavior. They discriminate the price. We talked about the three price discriminating activities or methods: first degree, second degree, and third degree pricing what discriminating activities that the monopoly guys do. Under the third degree, we said that they sell the commodities to people according to how much they have bought. Okay, they set the price according to how much they have bought. So those who buy more, they pay less. Those who buy less, they pay more. Just like that, okay? You know those things whereby if you're buying in bulk, like you pay little. That is a third degree of price discrimination. Usually it is practiced also by the monopolists. The second degree of price discrimination, we said that this time around, these people are charging people according to the different income classes or different places where they come from. Okay, that is second degree, where you're pricing people according to different places where they come from. So you find that those people who come from high cost areas, they are charged different from those people who come from low cost areas. That is another kind of pricing, discriminating. It's called second degree, as said. We said that first degree is when when the monopolist asks the buyer how much they are willing to pay, and he sucks all the consumer surplus. Remember, consumer surplus is when the price is below how much you are willing to pay. Now, when they ask you how much you are willing, it means they're getting all the consumer surplus. That is under monopoly. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
If it is clear, Lillian, would you read for us question number D?
Can you get me?
Yes, we can hear you.
No. The commodity being produced is unique and there's no perfect substitutes.
Which market is this? Anybody? Which market is this where there are no perfect substitute for that product? It's just very unique. Is it a monopoly? Is it perfect competition or both? Anybody?
It's monopoly.
Monopoly.
Okay. Under monopoly, we find that what they produce is actually unique. Because if it had substitutes, people would have been substituting what they produce. Mr. Mansa, is it Mr. or Mrs. Mansa? I've just seen Mansa. Would you read for us F? Is it E? E.
It's Miss.
Okay.
The
You
firm,
can read for us.
the firm or firms only earn break-even level of profits in the long run.
Okay. So the firms only earn break-even level of profit in the long run. So in short, okay, what is the break-even point first before we can continue answering? What do you understand by break-even? What did we say about the break-even? Anybody who can remember? What's
Can
the
I try
break-even
that?
point? Yes, madam.
So the break-even point is a point at which price is equal to average cost. So this is where a firm only makes normal profits, not less and not abnormal.
Okay, thank you. So that is the break-even point. When the price, or you know that price is equal to average revenue, right? So when average revenue is equal to average cost, at that point, we say you have reached the break-even point. So in short, the question is that which market is this where the firms only earn break-even level of profit in the long run? They only break even in the long run, but in the short run, they don't break even. Which market is this?
Perfect competition.
It's a perfect competition. We said that in the long run, what happens? Let's have a picture again. Just trying to remind you these things anyways. We said that number one, we have the forces of demand and what? In supply. There is supply here and demand. You have the first price. Let's say price one. Price one will be equal to marginal revenue one, average revenue one, which is equal to demand one. Then now, this is in the short run. So what is happening in the short run is that there is only one firm or very few firms. Now that these guys are making abnormal profit, others will be enticed to enter the industry, increasing supply, okay? When other firms will enter the industry, check what happens. The supply curve will shift to the what? To the right, isn't it? Because there'll be so much supply, there'll be so much supply of that particular commodity. What happens to the price when supply moves to the right? Anybody? What happens to the price?
The price goes down.
Okay, so the price will move down, right? It will be around somewhere here. This is the same price that continues. You have marginal revenue now 2 and the average revenue at 2. So check that in the short run, you have your marginal costs. Then the average average cost is below the price, right? It's below average revenue under perfect competition. But in the like this, it's just tangential here. Yeah, that's average cost. So in the short run, we say that the price or average revenue is this one, in this top line, this one, which is higher than the the average cost. The average cost here is down, but the average revenue is up. Therefore, the firm is making abnormal profit. That is in the short run. But in the long run, when this price has been moved down, you know what happens? See what happens? The marginal revenue now, the marginal revenue line, this horizontal line, is tangential to the average costs. You know that marginal revenue is equal to average revenue under perfect competition. Have you seen that now this curve, the average cost, the AC curve is now tangential to what? To the cost, meaning they are equal. At that point, the firm is breaking even. That is in the long run for the perfect competition. We have repeated this again. How many times now? Is it 5 times? Anyway, don't worry about how many times we have repeated this. Any question? Okay. So basically, that's what happens. The class is being recorded. Don't worry. We'll give the recording. We move to Mr. Manza. Read for us question number F. Mr. Manza.
Oh, sorry, sir. You said what? I was talking to someone, sorry.
Question number F.
Number F. Okay, it is extremely easy to enter and exit the market.
Anybody to answer that? Which market is that where you can easily just walk in and walk out? Which market is that?
Perfect competition.
It's perfect competition, isn't it? We said that under perfect competition, there are no barriers to entry. Aye? No barriers to entry. Mr. Mape, question number G.
Well, here we are. Question number G reads, the market demand curve facing the firms or firm is downward sloping.
Okay, so which market is this? Anybody? Where the demand curve is downward sloping now. It's not horizontal, it's not upward, it's not vertical or whatsoever. Which market is this where the demand curve is downward sloping? Anybody?
Monopoly.
Yeah, it is in the monopoly where we have the demand curve downward sloping. The diagram is like this. The marginal revenue is here. Remember these things, right? Marginal costs upward like that. Then the average costs like that. So basically, it is in this market, it is under monopoly where the demand curve is downward sloping. But in the perfect competition, we say that price, it is equal to demand, it is equal to average revenue, it is equal to marginal revenue. Therefore, they are horizontal. Okay, the demand curve is horizontal under perfect competition. Clear?
Yes.
You've seen that exams made easy, eh? UNZA does not make exams hard. And now for your own information, the passing rate has been reduced, I was told. So only 40%. Are you like for real? You're being like serious, like che.
It's a good thing, sir.
Like you can't get 40%, 40 out of 100. Like 40 out of 100. You have already
Mature
passed and
pass mark.
congratulations.
Yeah, but you
All right, that was commercial break. We can go to H now. And Mr. Sylvester, sir, read for us question number H.
Question number H. It reads, the firm take the price as given by the market.
Okay.
The firm take the price as given by the market.
All right. So what market is this? Anybody? Where the firm just takes the market as given by the price as given by the market. In short, the firm does not have power over price. The firm does not set the price. What did we say?
It's perfect monopoly.
Perfect competition.
Competition,
Isn't it?
sorry.
Perfect competition is where the firm has no power over the price. They just take the price as given by the market. Come a monopoly, they have power over price. They set the price the way how they want. They are alone kind in the industry. If they want, they can just produce a very minimal quantity of that commodity and just increase the price. Then you know that revenue is price times what? Times the quantity that they have produced. They will still make revenue. Yeah, these guys. Okay, Tinku, read for us question number
I. Question number I reads, the firms can earn supernormal profit in the short run.
Which firm? Okay, which market is this where you can find supernormal profits in the short run?
Perfect competition.
Perfect competition. Any other?
I think it's monopoly. I'm not sure, but I think it's monopoly.
All right. So there is a provision of saying both. Okay. We
Yeah.
said that all the markets in the short run, even for perfect competition, we said that what they make that profit is called supernormal profit. It's supernormal. It's not normal. The normal profit is when they're there. Even who was this? The monopoly guys again. They make supernormal profit. So it is possible for both what firms to do what to make it supernormal profit. Is that fine in the short run? That is in the short run.
Okay.
Okay. Question number J. Micah, I'm not reading. Read.
Okay. Question number J. Optimization occurs where the price is equal to the marginal cost.
Okay. Which firm is that? Optimization takes place where the price is equal to marginal cost. Which firm is that?
Perfect competition.
Marginal cost. Right. So this is what happens in the marginal, in the perfect competition. We said that to optimize is to maximize profit. Profit is maximized at what? At a point where marginal revenue. You remember the point where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. I think I mentioned this point several times. That profit is always maximized at this point where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost. Somebody is wondering, saying, no, the question is talking about price. No, we said that the price is equal to what? Price is equal to marginal revenue. It's the same thing. So you can say price is equal to marginal cost. That's what we said under perfect competition. Those are synonyms, right? So at that point where marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, profit is what? Is maximized. Is that clear? Under
Yes, sir.
perfect competition. That is very different from monopoly again. Under monopoly, you find that, what did we say about monopoly? Observe the diagram for monopoly now. Your demand curve, your marginal your marginal revenue, your marginal costs. So profit maximizing output is this one. Here, output one. You draw a straight line to the what? To the demand curve and come this side. This is where the price is. So you've seen that under monopoly, the profit is maximized only at a point where pricing is equal to what? To demand. You've seen, because the marginal revenue and the demand, they are not the same under monopoly. They are different. It's not like under perfect. The price, the profit is maximized here at this point. At this quantity, this output is the one that maximizes profit. So it is not basically, this is not the point where marginal cost, this marginal cost equals what? Equals what? Equals price. Because the price is up here, marginal cost is here. You've seen, they don't even meet anywhere. Is that clear? Hello.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay. Gertrude, read for us the next question. It should be question number what? K. Hello.
Okay. The marginal cost, the marginal cost schedule is U-shaped and cuts the average cost at its minimum.
Okay. So which firm is this? Where marginal cost is U-shaped. The marginal cost is U-shaped and the cut say the what? The average cost at the minimum. Marginal revenue, marginal costs, average revenue. Which firm is that?
Perfect competition.
Okay. Any other? All right. When you observe the two diagrams, this one on the right is for monopoly. This one on the left is for what? It's for perfect competition. In both cases, the marginal cost is what? Is this one. It's U-shaped and it cuts the average cost at minimum. That's what we said all the time. Whether it is in monopoly or it is in perfect competition, marginal cost will always cut the what? The average cost at minimum in the short run. Is that clear? In both of the markets. Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Maureen, read for us question number I. Is it I? L. Hello? Question number L. Question number L.
It reads, the average revenue schedule is equal to the demand curve.
Average revenue schedule is equal to the what? The demand curve. Which market is that? The average revenue is equal to what? The average revenue schedule is equal to the demand curve. In short, where average revenue, you know what the schedule? You know that the average revenue schedule is the one that gives us average revenue, right? So where average revenue is equal to the demand, which market is that? I think I'm just from saying that we have seen it now. Which market is that? Anybody? Where average revenue is equal to demand? Which market is that?
Monopoly.
Okay. Interesting. Any other?
Both.
What did I say about it? Okay, so we said that in perfect competition, price is equal to average revenue, it is equal to marginal revenue, and it is equal to demand. That is under perfect competition. I think I'm from drawing this diagram several times. You are able to see it now. All right, question number M. Question number M. Question number M. Chisha Kalunga. Read for us question number M.
M reads, there's a slope between the average revenue and the marginal revenue.
Okay. Which market is this? Where there is a split between average revenue and the marginal revenue. Hello. I think we can do this fast because the questions are main that you need to do. Which market is that?
It's monopoly, sir.
Okay. So under monopoly, the average revenue is not equal to marginal costs. They are split. You understand? They are split. But under perfect competition, there is no split of these. They are just equal. That's what you said. They are not separated, right? I think you are seeing the diagram, right? So in short, you should be able to visualize the diagram. That's all I can say in the meantime. Be able to visualize the diagram. Okay, question number N, Madam Chisha Kalunga.
In the long run, isn't it that margin and average revenue don't match up? So can the answer be both?
Sorry?
In the long run, under perfect competition, average revenue and the other one, they don't match up. So can't you say maybe they both apply?
No, they still match even in the long run. Check the diagram for perfect competition in the long run. There is the first price, right? There is this first price, gives us the average revenue, marginal revenue, and the demand. This is 1-1, right? Then in the second, in the long run now, the price has gone down. You find that again, you have this line. You have average revenue 2, marginal revenue 2, demand 2. Have you seen that they are just equal even in the long run? Average revenue and marginal revenue are equal. Have you seen that?
Okay.
Are you fine now?
Yeah.
Okay. Tinku, read for us question number N. Question number N, Tinku, read for us.
Okay, it reads, the product being produced is not genius.
Heterogeneous.
Ah.
Okay. Which market is that?
It's the perfect competition.
Okay. What does it mean to be heterogeneous?
They're the same.
Okay, what's the difference between heterogeneous and homogeneous?
Homogeneous is when the product is undifferentiated. Is it?
Okay.
Yeah. Then heterogeneous is when the product is differentiated, meaning it's which one is identical and the other one is not identical in that case.
So now which one is the answer?
So here, I think they mean the product being produced is identical. I think that's what I think.
So which market is that?
So
It's a perfect competition.
while the product is identical, it's perfect competition.
Okay. So so basically, this yeah, it's a good Friday. Not heterogeneous simply means homogeneous. So you have gotten used that every day I've been using the word homogeneous, homogeneous. Right? It's the same statement. Not heterogeneous, the same as homogeneous. So where the product is homogeneous is where in the perfect competition, that's why you have the products that are identical. To be homogeneous, it means to be identical, to be same. The products are just same, similar. But in the other market, the opposite is true. The products are differentiated, they are heterogeneous. Let me read for you this one, the last one. There is a large number of customers in the market. Which market is this? Where there are so many buyers.
Perfect competition.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's both, sir.
All right. Yeah. So in this one,
It's
it
both,
is what? Yes. It is in both. The consumers are in both, right? Unless they had said there are so many producers. That's what differentiates now. Because under perfect competition, we have many producers and many buyers. But under monopoly, we have one producer, but many what? Consumers. So it is in both where we have. Have you seen that you have already passed? Congratulations. Okay, moving fast. You've seen now question number 2. Question number 2. Mr. Sylvester, read for us question number 2. The statement.
I'm actually at the funeral, so I can't actually read properly.
Okay.
I'm following.
Okay, it's fine. Gertrude, read for us question number A.
Question A. Consider the demand and supply of cinematic.
Hello?
Draw the market demand and supply situation depicting equilibrium. What would happen to the equilibrium situation after the following changes? Please explain clearly the boards using the diagrams.
Okay. All right, Lydian, read question number AI. Hello.
So question 2I reads, there is an increase in Zesco load shedding to the cinema.
Okay, thank you. Have you understood the question? We are considering the demand and supply of cinematic movies at Mandahill Shopping Mall. So we are to draw the demand and supply situation depicting the equilibrium point, the point at which supply is equal to demand. What would happen to the equilibrium situation after the following changes? And we are to explain using the clearly labeled diagrams. So number one, there is a demand and supply of the movies. That's what you should get. We are dealing with the demand and supply of the movies at Monday. So now there is an increase in ZESCO load shedding. Load shedding, like too much load shedding. What do we do? What can happen to the demand? Does that affect the demand or supply?
It affects demand.
Okay.
So demand will reduce because of the load shedding. So we won't have a lot of people going to the cinema because obviously there's no power.
Okay, interesting. Does that affect the producer or the consumer when there is load shedding?
I think it affects both the producer and the consumer because
First
it's like
of all,
they both lose out.
What is demand, right? Maybe we should go back to the basics. What is demand? Anybody? What is demand, right?
Demand is the ability or willingness that
Okay, so it is actually the willingness and the capacity of people to obtain the given commodity at the market, right? So the two words are coupled and they're important. The willingness and the capability or ability, right? To demand. So now that is demand. So does that situation, the going of the load shedding thing, affect demand? Does that affect the willingness of people to go? That's how you should understand it. Does that affect the willingness of people? Does that affect the capacity of people? What happens? Anybody? Hello. Okay. So what is there is that when there is these are practical questions that you have in economics. Yes, try to apply. Okay, you can find these in the notes. Just apply the theories. There is no power. Who is affected? Is it the suppliers of the cinemas or the people who are demanding the cinema? Who is affected?
I feel the supplier is losing out in this situation.
Okay, so what will happen to the supply? Is it going to reduce or increase of those cinemas, the movies, when there's no power? Hello.
They'll reduce.
Okay, so supply will do what? Will reduce. It will move to the what? To the left. So the supply curve will shift to the what? To the left, depicting that supply has what? Has reduced. So the supply curve will move from S1 to what? To S2. So that's what that means. That's price. Then the price will increase, right? From P1 to P2. You've seen, right? The equilibrium price. Whereas the quantity will do what? Will reduce this quantity supplied from Q1 to Q2. On the horizontal axis, you have quantity. Then on the vertical axis, you have price. One thing I should underscore is that it is important that you label these graphs. Labeling is very, very important. Label the graphs. And that's how you label them. Along the horizontal axis, it is quantity, then the vertical axis is price. So that's how you really show the graphs. And you have explained that really supply will do what? Will reduce. When we read this graph, we'll be able to see that, okay, supply has what? Has reduced. The supply has shifted to the left, reflecting a reduction in the supply of the commodity under concern, the specific, the cinematic movies. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, actually, this question again, we did it in one of your assignments. One of the videos has got this same question, but there's we'll just continue for the sake of reminding someone. Number 2, there is a sudden outbreak of COVID in Zambia. There is COVID. What does that happen? Oh, okay. Who is affected here? Does that affect demand or supply? COVID. Hello. COVID. What happens to supply or to demand? There's price one here first. When there is COVID, who is affected? Is it the supplier of the movies or the demanders of the movies? Does that affect the demand when there is COVID? Okay. So what is happening here is that everyone is affected by COVID, right? Both the demanders and the suppliers are affected by COVID. The suppliers, you know that they are told, you know those guidelines that are given during COVID, no overcrowding people, just keep only 2 people, you know those things, right? As a result of that, really supply is affected. Then when you look at the demand as well will reduce, because we define demand as the willingness and capacity. So people might be willing, but the capacity will be affected of people to come and demand this. Therefore, the demand curve, let me use the blue marker for the demand curve. Demand curve will shift to D2, that is reducing. This is showing the reduction in demand, right? Demand has reduced. Then the supply curve as well will do what? Will shift to the left to show that supply has what? Has reduced. Check now what is happening in the price. The price will not be moved. The price is never what? Is never moved. Have you seen that the equilibrium point for blue and for red, they are just joined by only one price? The equilibrium point for blue, this one which is in blue, and this one which is in red. So what is just changing here are the quantities, that there is a reduction in terms of the quantity that is both supplied and demanded to Q2. But what is happening is that the price remains the same. So the price has remained the same, but what has been affected here is both the supply and the demand. So the price has failed to move because at the same time, when it almost moved upward, supply reduced. You know that once supply reduces, then what happens to the demand? They have the same relationship, right? Supply and the price. If the supply, if price increases, even quantity supplied increases. If supply reduces, even quantity supplied does what? Reduces. But there is an inverse relationship between price and what? In the quantity demanded. Which means that once you increase the price, the quantity demanded does what? Reduces. And the vice versa. Clear?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay. There is a new cinema a new cinema is opened at a nearby mall, let's say East Park. Yeah, Manda, you and East Park are neighbors. So now, remember you are producing at Manda, but again at East Park, there are others who are your competitors. So the question is that what will happen to the movies, to the demand or supply of movies at Manda when we open the new one at East Park? Hello.
I think the demand is going to increase as people are now going to start going to East Park to survey what they offer compared to Manda Hill.
Which demand will increase? The demand for cinema is at Manda Hill or those at East Park?
The demand for Manda Hill is going to reduce as people will now start going to the new place.
Okay. So last time we said we talked about the factors affecting demand, right? The factors affecting demand, and one of them that we picked, we talked about time. Time is also one of the determinants that affect, like that determines the coefficient of elasticity of demand. Elasticity simply means the responsiveness of, of the quantity demanded as a result of the change in some given factor, let's say price, income, or a substitute good or the related good. So what is happening in practical terms that with time, as time increases, people who have got that desire, the preferences change, right? People always are excited about new things. Naturally, people are excited about new things. So they will say, Amanda, you are old, what? So we are going to see the new what? The new thing. So you see that the demand will start what? Will start reducing at Amanda, okay? So the demand does what? The demand will do what? Will reduce at Manda Hill because people will start going to East Park as well. So it's more like you are now sharing the customers. Others will go to East Park, but there are those again who are loyal to the brand, who still say, no, ni forever Manda Hill. Then they come back to Manda Hill. You know those things, right? I don't know if you have gotten the analysis. Did you get the analysis?
Yes, yes.
Okay. You can ask the questions, please. We are doing this for you. Yeah, we are doing this for you. The government implements tax cuts on Lusaka residents. Oh, we have skipped 4. What's this? The cinema increases the price of popcorns and the drinks at Mandai. Remember, we are dealing with Mandai. So these guys have said, no, popcorns should be gotten at how much? 20 kwacha, 30 kwacha, one? 20 kwacha. And the drinks, they say, no, just a Fanta, a simple Fanta. You get a Fanta at 50 kwacha, one. What will happen to the demand? Anybody? Hello.
I think yes.
The demand will do what? Will reduce, isn't it? People will be like,
Yes.
things are expensive here after all. Because, okay, imagine you have got a low budget, time. You just have a low budget. Okay, let's try to lower the budget. You take your babe out, right? You take your husband or your wife to Manda Hill. Taking the babe to Manda Hill, you find that the money that you have is just enough maybe to buy something. It's not even enough to buy drinks, right? Imagine those embarrassments. Oh, I don't know whether they're embarrassments or whatsoever. They are. So you find that it's really bad, right? You go, or maybe, okay, commercial break now. You take the person you're taking out, and then you buy, you know, those things at the till there, you are paying, like you've gotten the things, and then the money that you have is not, it's not enough, right? It's just not enough. Then you go back, they tell you that you can leave these things on the till, just leave them, and because the money is not enough. You know those experiences, right? And then you are with someone you've taken out. Anyway, you know what it means. That was commercial break. So basically, this is what happens. Okay, the demand should do what? The demand obviously will reduce to D2 like that. You know, now you know how to draw these things. I think you're fine. Any question? Assuming that the silence means that people are hearing you, sir, you can continue.
Sorry,
Yes, madam.
just to disturb you a bit.
No, it's fine.
So here, does the price move on this
Sorry?
curve, particular one? I mean, on this particular one, does the price, is it the price curve? Does it move anywhere? Does it come down or it remains the same?
Okay, so supply one, demand one. These are initial position. Price one and the quantity what? Quantity one. Then the demand curve has shifted inside, right? To D2.
Yeah.
What happens? What happens to the equilibrium point? You find that the quantity will do what? Will be Q2 here, and then the price will be P2. It means that the price will be pushed what? Downward. When the demand reduces, demand has reduced. Obviously, the price should go down because you cannot be overcharging something that has got now lower demand. Look at that, right? There's no demand, then you are, you know, those things, right? Yeah.
Okay.
The demand has reduced, and yeah, you've gotten that. Any question? Okay, the government implements tax cuts on Lusaka residents. You know tax cuts, right? Like they reduce the tax that we pay as taxpayers. They tell us that, okay, guys, you're just going to, the tax that they cut from us reduces. What will happen? It means that we have more of this disposable income. So when we have more disposable income, what does that do to the demand or to the supply? Does that affect the supply or demand when our disposable income increases?
It affects demand.
Okay, disposable. We call it disposable income. The income that doesn't have taxes, right? Net tax. We'll talk about these things next year to those who will be doing macroeconomics, right? Yeah, when you'll be doing macroeconomics, we'll be talking about these terms. And so the disposable income increases. When the disposable income has increased, it means your capacity to buy increases. So now you can take someone out and perform there and showcase power. Okay. Away from that, that was commercial break. Now on B, read for us question number B.
Oh, sorry, sir. Just to take
Yes,
you
madam.
back before we proceed.
Yes.
So in this case, the demand curve moves to the right, isn't it? To show that it
No, it
shifts
has
to
moved
the
to the
right.
left. When demand reduces, it shifts you to the left. That's reducing. But if
Haven't you
demand
said
increase,
that here demand has increased?
oh, okay. Oh, for G1, I was. Thank you. I was on this one. I didn't give
the
a.
last one.
Oh, okay. The last one, yes. So the demand is increasing. The capacity. It means that the demand curve is shifting to the what?
To the right.
To the right now. Thank you. Because it is increasing. So it is shifting to the right. Like that. You know those things, right? Quantity one, quantity two, like that. Any question? Okay, you can read the question B.
explain the major differences between the cardinal and ordinal approaches to consumer theory. How does a consumer optimize under each theory?
Okay, so what are the differences between ordinal theory and cardinal theory of consumer theory? Anybody? Okay, so under cardinal theory, we assume that utility or satisfaction can be what? Can be quantified. Okay, you can quantify, utility. The level of satisfaction can be quantified in numeric terms. That is what we assume under what? Cardinal. But under ordinal utility, right? Under ordinal, what do we do? We assume that utility cannot be what? Cannot be measured. Cannot be what? Quantified. Instead, it can be qualified. Quantified. Right? So you can't quantify utility. That's our assumption here. Clear? Did you get that? So the other difference is that under ordinal utility, you can rank the levels of satisfaction using indifference scales. You can rank utility. You can rank utility using the indifference scales, right? But here you cannot rank utility. You can't rank utility using indifference scales. Is that clear? Hello.
So you said indifference what? Curves? Is it curves?
Indifference curves, yeah.
Okay.
Indifference curves, like indifference curves.
Okay.
Indifference curves, right? Indifference curves. That's how you call it. Okay, so now when it comes to the issue of optimization in each theory, in all, the consumer optimizes utility. Okay. How does the consumer optimize the utility? Under cardinal theory, a consumer will optimize utility when the marginal utility of the commodity, let's say commodity X, over price of commodity X is equal to marginal utility of commodity Y over price of commodity Y. This is the optimizing condition for cardinal utility. Cardinal utility. That's what we said. And this is what we are saying. A point where the ratio of marginal utility for the given commodity divided by its price and the marginal utility for the other good. Remember, you're dealing with two commodities, right? Divided by its price where they are equal. Okay, you have got two commodities. Let's say you have got mangoes and oranges, right? The marginal utility for mangoes equal to marginal utility of oranges divided by the respective prices. Then that is the optimizing point. You got that? Yes, we got it, your son. Under ordinal utility, utility is maximized at a point where the indifference curve, right? The indifference curve is tangential. Curve is tangential. Is tangential to where? To the budget constraint. To the budget what? The budget line, if you want to call it like that. So the point at which the indifference curve is tangential to the budget constraint or the budget line, that point is the point of utility maximization under ordinary utility. So you have the budget constraint like this. It's downward sloping like a demand curve. Then this is your indifference curve. Let's say indifference curve 3. This is another indifference curve 1. Then there is also this indifference curve that is just the tangential to the budget line. This one, which is sloping like a demand curve, is a budget line, this one. So utility is maximized at this point where the indifference curve touches the what? The budget constraint or the budget line. In practical terms, we mean that the point at which your desires, remember in different scales, those are just your desires. Your desires are equal to your capacity because your budget line depicts your capacity, your ability to pay, like paying financially, pay. So where your desires are equal to your capacity to pay or fund those desires, then it means that that's where you optimize utility under ordinal utility or ordinal theory. Is that clear? Okay. All right. Assuming that if people are quiet, they have heard. Which one is which? Let's go to section number B. Section number B. Okay. Section number B. Okay, Mike Achanda, read for us question number under concern, the question number 3.
Just part A or
just the top part.
Okay. It reads, consider the table below and answer the questions which follow.
Okay. So we are just to consider this table and to answer the questions that follow. Question number 1 says, using the numbers, or without using the numbers above, right? Let's draw the total product and explain its what stages, right? We are to draw the total product curve and explain the stages, right? So this is your graph. How does it move? Okay, it moves like this. Yeah, TP, total product. This is the maximum point, you know. Then here where it is, that's rising. First stage. This is the second stage, and this is the third stage. So you have first stage, second stage, and what? And the third stage. Okay. Third stage of total product. This topic is coming from production function. So now, listen now to what I'm saying. We have to explain the stages, right? What should I give? During the first stage, what happens is that total product is rising at a faster rate. Okay, total product is rising at a faster rate. It means that you have the increasing returns to scale. Increasing returns to what? To scale. Okay, increasing returns to scale. What does increasing returns to scale mean, Masa? Anyway, increasing returns to scale is not difficult, my friends. In practical terms, let me give you a hypothetical example of someone who is doing the business for mobile money services, right? I'm a both. Okay, you have one person, you have employed one person, and let's say that one person using all the 3 SIM cards, they are able to make 10,000 at the month on average. Then you have added to labor, you have decided to employ another person, okay, and give him the equal equipment, an equal number of SIM cards, equal everything, you expect the amount to do what? To double, isn't it? You expect to get a 20,000 at the end of the year, or not the year, the end of the month. So imagine that now, when you employ this third person, instead of getting a 20,000, which is times 2 of 10,000, you get 25,000. That is an example of increasing returns to what? To scale. It means that where you have just doubled the input, which is your labor, the other person, that's the input now in this case is labor. You have just doubled input, but the output has increased more than double. Your output was just supposed to double, but it has increased more than what? More than double. That is what happens during the first stages of production. When you're just still employing, this time around, we're talking about number of workers, the labor, people. When you are still just employing few people, like you have just employed 1, 2, 3, 4 people, they really contribute a lot to the growth of that particular business. But as the number of people increase that you are employing, you find that now they are sharing the work, they are sharing the load. As they are trying to share the load, there will be now, in that they won't be working as they were working before they increased in number. During the second stage, what happens is that we have the rate at which now the total product increases becomes that slow. At this stage, we have what you call constant returns to scale. Constant returns to what? Returns to scale. Now, what constant returns to scale simply means that, giving you that same example of ours for the booth guys, you expect to get a 20,000 because you employed 2 people now, and you get exactly 20,000 as you had predicted. That is an example of constant returns to scale. You have doubled the input, even the output has just what? Has just doubled. It has not increased beyond the double. You got that time? It's an example of constant returns to scale. Then when you go to the third stage is characterized by decreasing returns to what? To scale. The decreasing returns to scale, with this one, using the same example that the reason why I gave you this example, I don't want you to easily forget or to memorize, so that you can easily remember. Decreasing returns to scale simply means you got these 2 people. You had these 2 people. You have these 2 people, you expect them to make a 20,000, but instead of making a 20,000 now, they have made a 15,000, which means you have doubled the input, but the output has increased less than double. That is a decreasing returns to scale. And that one is gained after the maximum what? The maximum point. When total, beyond the maximum point of total product, there is this amount of labor, this unit of labor or number of people that you can employ, which can give you the maximum possible contribution. But beyond that number, if you keep on employing, you find that now you have started what? Entering the third region, which is characterized by decreasing returns to scale, which is very dangerous for you. Okay, it's very dangerous. The decreasing returns to scale is very dangerous because at this point now, total product is reducing, but the costs are increasing. Those who are doing human resource, you are employed as a human resource manager. You are asked to recommend the number of people that you are supposed to employ in the company. Get it that it's not just a matter of recruiting because I'm the HR. No, it's about what is the contribution of this labor that I'm employing. This person, this new person that we have added, how much is he going to give us as a company? Comparing that to the costs that the company would incur because of that additional person. Remember, that person will bring in benefits and is also bringing the costs to the company. So if you find that the cost that person brings will be higher than what he contributes, then you better don't employ. Do not recommend for recruitment as the HR who understands the economy. So what we do is that just make sure that you calculate the marginal product of labor, which means each additional person the contribution of each additional person. Once it reaches the maximum, please, you no longer need to employ more than that point, because at that point, it will just more like the people are just wasting time in the company. They're no longer working like, for example, we give you the example of which one? You have a school, right? Your school has 5 classes. You employ 5 teachers already. That is the maximum number you can employ for efficiency. Then you decide to employ additional 2. It means that when those 5 teachers are in those classes, the other 2 teachers will be just seated doing nothing. Then you are like, no, me, I'm the HR, I'm still employing, I'll still recruit. Again, you recruit value 3 so that you can have 10. So it means that when 5 teachers are working, 5 of them are doing nothing. That is not good. Okay, you have heard that one, please. Any question? Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you got that, then I'm okay and I'm happy about that. Then we can come to the second question that reads, complete the table by filling in the average product and the marginal product of labor. How do you find average product? By formula, average product of labor. Now, in this case, we are talking about average product of labor. Okay, let me pass up. You slow down a bit because you have to slow down. You have to speak slowly here so that people may get it. And now, there you go. Let's go. How do we find the average product of labor? Why average product of labor? Because we are dealing with labor now. The input is labor. We're dealing with the number of workers. So average product of labor, APL, shall be given as the total product of labor divided by what? Divided by labor. Okay. Or in other words, you can say output, which is the total output, divided by what? By labor. This is the formula that we use when you're finding average product of labor. Clear? Just a reminder.
So that Q stands output. For, is it?
Output.
Oh.
So in short, you are dividing into the total product by what? By amount of labor. So in the first unit, let's go. Let me just try to zoom the screen a bit so that I can just use the same columns. I think you can manage to see. So during the first one, you are dividing. Total product is what? 10. 10 divided by 1, it gives us what? 10, isn't it? Then you have 2 into 25 gives us 12.5. 3 into 45 gives us 15. What? We are dividing total product into, dividing total product by output. And this 55 divided by labor, those units of labor, what do we get?
13.5. 13.5. 13.75.
13.75. And 5 divided by 60, I give you this one is 12. 5 divided by 60 is 12. 6 into 65 is 10.33. 10.33.
83.
Or 83. Okay. 10.8. Then 7 into 60, let me give you this one is 9. 8 into 58 is what?
7.25.
7.25. This is the schedule for average product of labor. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So basically, you are just dividing, into output divided by, these things. Okay. Now, my question is, in a case, what if you are not given now total product, they just give you average product? You remember, I think we did one of the presentation, one of the videos has got such an example. But let me just repeat again. let me repeat this. What if you don't have now total product, you just have average product? How can you find total product? So use the formula, average product of labor is equal to total product divided by labor. How can we find total product now, given this formula? Hello?
If you multiply.
We can make total product the subject of the formula, isn't it? Cross multiply here, you make total product the subject of the what? Of the formula. Total product shall be given as average product of labor times what? Times labor. It will give you total product. Let's try it. So you are saying average product 10 times 1 is 10, isn't it? 2 times 12.5 is 25, right? 3 times 15 is 45, right? Like you're just multiplying this labor here, number of workers times the average product of labor. Do you get that?
Yes.
Yes. And you say 4 times what? 13.5, it should give you 50 what? 55. 5 times 12, it should give you 60, right? 6 times 10.5, it should be 65. And the 7 times 9, it should be 60 what? 63. So that 8 times 7.25 can be what? 58. Did you get that?
Yes.
So basically, that's how you go about it. In case you are not given now total product, you're just given average and you're asked to find total product, that is the way to go. Exams made easy? Yes, sir. Exams made easy. Hello, any question? You can ask, please. We are doing this for you. We're basically doing this for you. Okay. Just a minute. Boy. Yeah, I'm in class. Sorry. How do you find marginal product of labor? Marginal product of labor shall be the change. It is basically the change in what? In total product divided by labor, change in labor. So you are basically saying the change in this total product divided by the change in labor. What is important to underscore is that total product of labor is always equal to marginal product of labor at the first unit. During the first unit, total product of labor is equal to what? The marginal product of what? Of labor. Clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And then from here, you're just looking at the change. Total product 2, which will be 25 minus 10 divided by 2 minus 1. What do you get? 15, right?
Yes.
And then the next one will be 45 minus what? Minus 25.
25.
Divided by 3 minus 2. What do you get?
20.
20.
You get 20. You come to which one? 55 minus what? 45.
45.
Divided by 4 minus 3. It should give you what?
10.
10. Okay. Then again, what's the next figure? 60 minus 55 should give us what? 5, right?
Yes.
Then 65 minus 60. 65 minus 60.
It's 5.
What is 60? It's 5 again. Right? What is 63 minus 65?
-2.
Negative 2. And the negative 58 minus 63 is negative 5, right?
Yes.
So that's basically how you find the marginal product of labor. Okay, marginal product of labor. Marginal product of labor. Now, my question is, what if they give you the marginal product of labor, then they have not given you what? Total product. They say, can you find total product given the marginal product? So here, understanding that at the first unit, marginal product is equal to total product. It means that you put 10 here as your total product. They are equal at the first unit. Then you start accumulating the marginal product, adding. So you say 10 plus 15 gives us what? 25, right? Are you following? 10 plus 15, you're adding the marginal product. You're accumulating the marginal product to get the total product. That's how you find the total product. You're not given. Then what is 25 plus 20? It gives us 45, right? 45 plus 10, 50 what? 55. 55 plus what? Plus 5 is 60, right? 60 plus 5, 60 what? 65. 65 minus 2 is 60 what? 3. 63 minus 5 is 50 what? 58. Have you seen that now you have gotten back your total product given the marginal product? Hello.
We're following.
Okay. Exams made easy.
Yes.
Exams have been made easy, and we have tried to make them as easy as we can. To quickly discuss this part before I have a meeting exactly at 20 hours, so I should be able to end the class before 20 hours. Okay, what is the maximum number of workers the firm should employ in order to produce where there is increasing returns to scale? What is the maximum number of people should the firm produce where they should we employ in order to produce where there is increasing returns to scale? So in short, before you reach the maximum, okay, like before you can reach the maximum, how many people do you need, and how do you know that you have reached where there is the total product is maximum? I think you can even follow the numbers, right? You can follow the numbers. You can follow the numbers. Where is total product maximum? Is it not at 60 what? 60 what? 65, right? Isn't it? 65 is the maximum total product, isn't it? Yes, sir, it is the maximum. So this is 65. It means that since it is the maximum, if you draw this graphically, that's where now beyond that point, the total product starts decreasing. You have seen from 65 it comes to 63, then to what? 58. Therefore, this means that the person should just employ up to how many people? Only up to 6 people if we want positive return. If we want positive return, we should just employ up to how many people? Up to 6. Beyond the 6, you find that the gains will start what? Will start reducing. Will start reducing. What is the maximum number of workers the firm should employ in order to produce where there is decreasing returns to scale? Immediately you go beyond what? Beyond the maximum, right? Which means beyond 6, it should be just maybe 7. If they employ 7, 8 going up, they will have the problem, isn't it? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Once the total product starts falling, you know those things, right? Yeah. Explain why firms are expected to produce where there are decreasing returns to scale in the real world. Okay, in short, what makes the firms to produce where there is decreasing returns to scale in the real world? What's the problem? Why do you think? It's not easy. Yeah, we have talked about it theoretically, that yeah, always you have to produce where there are, at least we have increasing returns. But in the real world, you find that most of the firms are able to produce where there is where there is decreasing returns to scale. Let's do this quickly. What do you think? Hello. What do we think? Okay. Now, what causes the decreasing returns to scale is what? It's average cost, right? It's the increase in the average cost. So what usually happens is that it is because of the diseconomies of scale, right? In the real world, the large firms will do that because of the diseconomies of scale. Now, when we say diseconomies of scale, we mean there are those disadvantages that come as a result of what? Of growth, right? In the real world, as companies start growing and growing, what will happen is that the cost will start increasing again. In the meantime, as the company is growing, the cost will start decreasing. But after some time, again, the cost starts what? Rising, right? So that's what is there. So it is because of the diseconomies of the scale that I just commented about. Was it 2 days ago? Yeah. Question number 4, draw the total fixed cost, total variable cost, and the total cost on the same graph. I think you remember this graph. I did this in class, but I can still repeat. We said that total fixed cost is what? It's horizontal, isn't it? Total fixed cost is horizontal, fixed costs. Total fixed cost. Then the variable costs. The variable cost does what? It varies, right? With output. It goes like that as the total variable cost. Isn't it? That's the total variable cost. Then the total cost will be after the fixed cost here on top. Let me write it. It will rise from here as the total what? Total cost. Do you remember this diagram? Okay. Don't worry if you can't remember, you have been reminded now. This is how you write these 3 cost graphs on the same graph. Is that clear? Cost curves, not cost graphs. Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then the question number B says draw average total cost and the average variable cost and the marginal cost on the same graph. Yeah. So the average total cost is always on top like this. The average total cost is same as ACI. If you just remove total, it's just like that. Then the average variable cost is always downward. is below ATCI. The AVC is below ATC. ATC is same as AC. Maybe you are used of AC. It's the same thing. This AVC is always below than that. Then the marginal cost is always sloping what? Upward like that. It cuts them at minimum. That's what we said. And it's what we are saying, that the marginal cost cuts the what? The AC and AVC at their minimum. We have presented them on the same what? Same graph. That's how they are presented. Just a reminder. It is just a reminder. When you go on a video that is labeled on costs and production costs, that's where you find these curves, I think. That's where we talk about it. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Show that the gap between ATC and AVC is equal to so AFC, average fixed cost. Now, let me show you average fixed cost. Average fixed cost is asymptotic. It's asymptotic to the horizontal axis. Okay. The average fixed cost is like this. It's downward sloping. It's closer and closer to the what? It's like this AFCI. It's asymptotic to this curve. To be asymptotic, it means it comes closer and closer, but it can never touch the axis. Then the average cost, check the average cost, the average total cost is above, like that, ATC, which is same as AC. Then they move like this. They, in the long run, they come closer and closer like this, but they will never touch each other. This is AVC. That's how you present them on the same graph. Clear? The ATC and AVC will never meet, but they will come closer and closer to each other in the long run. Similarly, AFC, average fixed cost, will be asymptotic to the horizontal axis, which means it will come closer and closer, but it will never touch it. Can you now consider filling in this table? Let's find where there is total fixed cost and total variable cost. Just finishing this table. Let's start with total fixed cost. Total fixed cost is fixed. That's why it is called total fixed cost. It does not change. Okay. Total fixed cost does not change. It's just constant. So it means that if here is 300, even here is what? 300, 300, 300, and what? And 300. Is that clear? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, when output is 0, the total variable cost is always 0 if output is 0. Because there is no total variable cost when output is 0. Because total variable cost, it is the cost that is a result of change in output. But if output has not changed, it is 0. It means that there will be no total variable cost. Then the total cost, this one, TC, total cost is given as what? Fixed cost plus variable cost, right? You can put these totals in here, same thing. So fixed cost 300 plus 0 here, it gives us what? 300 as what? As our total cost, isn't it? We are filling in that. Then what is the next figure? The next total cost, you say 300 plus 80, it should give us 380, right? 300 plus 130 is 400 and what? And 30. Clear?
Yes.
Then finding the marginal cost. Marginal cost is the change in the total cost divided by change in what? In output. Just the same way how you're calculating marginal product. So total marginal cost, when output is 0, it is it is equal to the total cost. So here you have 300. Then you say 380 minus, the way how you are doing that previous one. 380 minus what? minus 300. 380 minus 300 gives us what? 80, right? Then you say 430 minus 380. What is, oh, no, not 430, 400. 400 minus 380
20.
gives us 20, right?
Yes.
Then 430 minus 400 should give us 30. 500 minus 430, 70, right? This is how you find the marginal costs. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Hello. You've seen that the concepts have started repeating now, right? There is nothing new here. You've seen, right? Okay, average fixed cost. Average fixed cost, average fixed cost is found by total cost divided by what? Output, right? So in total fixed costs, where there is total fixed cost divided by output. So the first one will say 300 here divided by 0 gives us what? 0, isn't it? Then 1 divided by 300, it is what? 300. 2 divided by 300, 1 what? 150, right? 3 by 300, 100, and 4 divided by 300. What is 4 divided by 300? 4 divided by 300. 75, right?
Yes.
That's how you find the average fixed what? Average fixed what?
Cost.
Average fixed cost. Then the average variable cost. I think now you have known. How do you find average variable cost? It means that variable cost divided by what? By output, isn't it? Hello. Variable cost divided by output. So 0 divided by 0 is 0. 1 divided by 80 gives us 80. Oh, what was the variable cost here? Or we say 400, the total cost minus what? 380 or 300. It's 100, right? Here. We didn't fill in. It's 100. Here is 200. So 100 divided by 200 is 50. And the 100 divided by 2 is 50. 130 divided by 3. What is 130 divided by 3?
43.3.
43 point what? 33. And the 4 divided by 200, that gives us 50, right? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Then the average total cost, the last one now, it is total cost divided by what? By output. So just divide the output into the total cost. The total cost is 300, gives us 0. 308 divided by what? By 1, right? 300 divided by 1. Hello. 300 divided by 1, right?
Yes.
What is the total cost? The total cost is 380 divided by 1, 380 as the average total cost.
4 minutes.
And the 2 into 400 it gives us what? 200. 3 into what? Into 430. What do you get?
143.33.
143.33. And the last one, 4 into 500.
125.
120 what? 125. So friends, that's what is there. I think we can just end here. for today.